Hi everyone. Unmuted. Oh, yeah. Hi everyone. Our little game shake and fragilities. Today I'm continuing to play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, more specifically the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. So I'm getting right on with it. I still have the song playing. Yeah, I meant stop it. I'm fine, thank you. Little game check. Check. Okay. Let's start the game. Okay. Continue. Yep. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Miss Pratt, you speak Japanese?
Yeah. I actually saw some playthroughs before when these came out, only in Japanese. It's a fun game. Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, why I've been speaking through an interpreter till now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this. This lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
I see. In that case, Miss Pratt, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryūnosuke. Victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. It really is. A fancy hat. And I think the swan is alive, if I remember correctly. there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight really to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. The victim's dead. Because of death besides the gunshot. There's other smaller way mental left can be taken to the dress, please do show me. There is, but I don't have any proof. There's nothing in here, right? Yeah. Okay. I won't press everything, but I'm going to press this first. Okay. Etheria, what do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand?
A killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Achi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryūnosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that will mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma? What, Ryūnosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Osanaga. The detective? Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the lands of Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right! La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Now, how do I target him? Okay. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryūnosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you are looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. Yeah. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with D-pad and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Excuse me!
What? What's the meaning of this? So sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. I really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? There's something you'd like to say? Please, share it with the court.
Objection! What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can find fault with the testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Osonaga? Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady's right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Sonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness actions, but I do understand the sentiments. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Carbonated water bottle has been entered into the court records. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, Professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. First I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. There's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace? Please, do show me. Oh, please let me do this.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson, drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only... Seriously? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett. It was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous. This is less sense of thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation of a country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have just only signed the Code of Friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may. I will silence you forever for this place of back at the...
It is you. You should be silent.
Of course. Dear lady.
Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, Inspector. Where it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten that my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we test the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I held a test for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? Tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
Of course, dear lady. The pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if you use poison. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding his weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no. I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? No, but I will have. Right? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryūnosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
Please, wait.
I don't have voices for women. Isn't that? What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued. I can play more. Save your current progress. Yes. Second of November, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but what is sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant? And a woman, no less? The rules state that females are not permitted in this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency,
I am most grateful. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something? Written in English?
Giselle Brett's research.
The Englishwoman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting.
Curare? What's that?
Never heard that word before.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail. I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover.
think it could be valuable. Please cast your eye over it. It is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. Goodbye then, and good luck. You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but let me just read it first. Synopsis. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects: instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry: the above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart, or by removing a teeth. Practical applications: due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients will die of suffocation.
The prosecution has made this case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryūnosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unwielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett.
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely...
Forgive me, Miss Pratt. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, let me just check.
politely decline.
However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? I meant why.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett,
We understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
what?
Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? That's complete and utter nonsense. Karate, sir? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist?
Correct. Which means, no matter what tests police can do for toxins, they never identify curare.
Why?
Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What?
Order! 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 Counsel, Does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has been long used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Temporary! These aspersions are utter temporary. To start with, the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison. He would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have strongly noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there will be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair and the reinforced support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. Chair. I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. A full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments will be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? Hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense.
If I may...
All these facts, if it is so clever, but you must be...
It is you who must be taught.
You must be taught some manner.
Shut up. It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how Japanese behave, is it? What? Still another honest hardware can then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. What do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that can't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Facepalm because of... This is... so... Can see it coming right away. Oh, I mean, I know I was thinking of something else. No problem.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Wait, what are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. All appropriate for this shabby affair.
Yeah. We need the glass that she took from the scene, not the bottle. Okay.
Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
Gah.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Ha! Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Oh yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, it's a little Far Eastern charades. Will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has been poison in that bottle, doesn't there?
But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have killed over that.
Come on, Ryūnosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryūnosuke?
Isn't it obvious? If there was poison there, she'd be dead by now.
Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world.
Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent?
That was a ascending to a promising line of inquiry, Counsel, for which you will be penalized. Okay, so I effed up. This whole trial is poison. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? There can have been, because otherwise she would have killed over that. Come on, Ryūnosuke, we all have to close now. The bottle of water contains poison. Culprit did put Kurari poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. Oh. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool! Are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw...
Is Brett drinking water from it? That's right. It really complicates your argument, I think. I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. Sure, the answer is the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well, very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water and escape? I don't think it's this. It's this.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's no valid explanation.
No.
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur, this report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel, who I'm going to check before. It's in the special characteristics. Yeah, it's in the special characteristics. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Special characteristics. Been hearing a lot about this Kurari poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel! Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. Lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there will be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel! No, that would be madness! I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kurari enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kurari's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Yep, it's alive.
Rapscallion!
Well, Ryūnosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? Lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some fact we read in a book. I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce. Curare is safe to ingest. Seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric suckers.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers. What are they?
So this is... If this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Yes, he would.
Ah, that's right!
Good gracious!
It's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they will be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
What is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
How? Are you trying to use that tone with me?
You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why. Even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison, you are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. So you now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curare?
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you're well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. Use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist.
His childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. I don't know how to say that. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. Now she does the thing I think she was going to do. See, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? This Englishwoman, she does pass that bottle! The Supreme Court, what terrible blunder! Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible. At once! You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. We have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not. You. And let's not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Is that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. You'll find the photographic print, I presume, dear lady.
That's right. I'm really looking at this photograph. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using kurare. And then, in order to frame Ryūnosuke Naruhodō for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was surrender that professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man.
A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryūnosuke Naruhodō.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryūnosuke. Yes? You've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish this. Finish it. What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true, so if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on their head. Think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma's right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryūnosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Activities could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows you Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been his...
Take that!
Inspector Osunaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going this? Where are you going this, little boy?
It's just a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory?
I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What? Oh, really? And what of it?
Obviously that must have been happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Huh? Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front. There's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite to the professor as you were. Giselle Brett.
I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table, immediately.
Yes, sir.
No, yes, sir! I wasn't sure who was it, but it was Osunaga. Sorry for the delay. It is what you ordered, steak. Well, what about blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. Blood, man! Show the court! There's no blood on this one. Of course, examine the plate at your leisure. No, no blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! No, I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There's blood on the side of the plate. But an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can trust what the Japanese tell you.
This, I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
Ha!
This sorry-looking steak reveals this fact out too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Plate of steak has been entered in the court record. This plate I saw, or thought I saw, was just a figment of my imagination. This is it now. I've lost. I'm going to check on the steak. Here's the curio. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. The hallmark is from the OA era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing here? Wait, did you say it was OA Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a OA Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in Boulogne. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary. This is extraordinary, though. This means I certainly never expect to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. It's from the OA era too. That will make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in juices as well. Look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No. But the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryūnosuke. Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Indeed. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. Seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is a symbol of La Carnevale, is it? Okay, let's get all this. This is it now. I've lost. Ryūnosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gathering. Huh? Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. I already did, Ryūnosuke. I already did. The evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way. I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your Phineas' fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for Defense, will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding to. Precisely on this plate of beef steak is this new clue to be found. Huh? What in the world is this? Think it's a common coin. Galmar from Naruhodō. What's doing here? Naruhodō. Okay, now I can present.
Got it!
Good gracious! That's...
Koban?
What on earth? Oh, Era 1 at that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question, how should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. Railway Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. Railway Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. Well, no one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. Point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Kyuryo Korekuta.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and the owner of the Razute, Kyuryo Korekuta-san. Kyuri? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired.
The gunshot interests me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the way I had a Koban, my prized coin.
Can this over here, Koban? Do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No! Please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here, without a moment's delay. Can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Okay, I'm going to stop now. I hope you've had a great time, and until next time, thanks for watching.